Welcome to the City of Golden Friendship!
Viva, Senyor San Agustin!
What's up, Marites? Another day, another chika!
So for today's video, we will be taking you to different places here in Cagayan de Oro City. But this time, we will not be having our regular chismis session. Instead, we will be talking about facts. Along with our trip, we will be showcasing amazing and magnificent infrastructures that features different architectural designs. So what are we waiting for? Let's go!
Viva, Senyor San Agustin!
The St. Augustine Metropolitan Cathedral is located in the heart of the city of Cagayan de Oro, Philippines. It is in honor of St. Augustine, the patron saint of the city. It was founded in 1624 and the groundbreaking started in the 1950s. It was constructed in the middle of the city so that it can be easily protected from invaders. And between 1624 and 1950s, the church experienced its ups and downs. It was rebuilt 3 times until 1942, where it was bombed as part of the World War II. Shortly after, the church was rebuilt and the construction began in the 1950s with no estimated completion date.
The notable neo-Gothic architectural style, which emerged in the middle of 18th century in England, served as inspiration for the St. Augustine Cathedral's exterior and interior designs. The church is built using gravel, cement, steel, and concrete. We have its lone bell tower on the side, which houses the church bell. Its walls have holes, one of which is a special circle opening with complicated stonework patterns known as the tracery. Such holes enable the church sounds to be heard. We can also see the St. Augustine's Church jutting buttresses outside the church, which are attached to the cathedral to support its height and provide a sense of stability. The inside of the cathedral is decorated with pointed arches and a roof vault, both of which are essential elements of Gothic architecture. A dome, which disperses stresses within the structure itself, is a unique feature that is also present. The cathedral's columns and the intricate designs in the walls both displays element of classical architecture. Additionally, the church has a window made of stained glass that faces upward and depicts biblical stories via the use of imagery and symbolic characters. When sunlight enters the window, it casts a vibrant light inside the church. Finally, the church's T-shaped architecture places the altar at the point where the vertical and horizontal levels converge, providing a 360-degree view of everyone inside.
The building behind me is what we call Pearlmont Hotel. This was built around 1998, centrally located along Limcanque Drive and just a short drive from St. Augustine Cathedral Parish and SM City downtown Cagayan de Oro City.
Rococo architecture has exuberant decoration with abundance of curves, counter-curves, undulations, and elements modeled on nature. We specifically picked Pearlmont because it has salient features of Rococo architecture. In the designs, vibrant and brightly colored patterns and ornaments were applied on the lightly colored background plane. Flower motifs spreading like ivy, natural motifs such as mussel shells are frequently encountered. Pastel colors and soft tones are dominant in the decorations and background colors. The wall treatments, ceilings, sculpture art, and decorative elements work together to create a high-spirited, light, and frothy atmosphere that made them perfect backdrop for the guests. Let's start first with the ornaments that are decorated and hung. Take a look at the wooded grills. You can really see seashells. Just like what I mentioned a while ago, it was modeled on nature, and these represent cute seashells. Next point is about its windows. A Roman arch is evident. It has a crown and a keystone at the center, voussoirs, and extra doors. Now you can see in its columns. It is a Doric column. Doric style columns were typically placed close together, often without bases. With concave curves sculpted into the shafts, Doric column capitals were plain with a rounded section at the bottom, or which is also called as echinus, and a square at the top, or abacus. And finally, let's talk about the pearl that is literally right above the World Promenade Hotel. From the term Rococo itself, it originates from the French word rocaille, means shellwork or rockwork. Centuries ago, people used the term to describe the ornate cravings. Cravings? It should be carvings. I am literally craving right now. However, let's continue. And the ornamental work found in architecture, furniture, and art. And as the Promenade Hotel, with the curves, counter curves, and of course the enticing, lovely pearl at the center, it highlights and it really relates to the name itself, Promenade Hotel.
The house that I have behind me is a great example of Philippine architecture. The green and brown structure was originally owned and built around the 1970s by a renowned businessman here in Cagayan de Oro City. A few years back, it was then sold and bought by the current owners, now residing abroad. It is located near St. Augustine Cathedral and now converted into a ministry and boarding house.
The Philippine architecture mirrors its history, traditions, and culture, influenced by the colonization of several nations, such as Spain, China, and America. Philippine architecture is truly one of a kind. This type of architectural landscape features a contrast between small traditional huts made of wood, bamboo, and nipa. The property in the video is considered to be one of the most traditional styles, following the famous Bahay na Bato. These houses are typical Filipino noble houses, with the only difference being the foundation. When houses are built around areas that experience more natural disasters, there is a silent requirement to make sure that the houses are fortified with stone. Bahay na Bato may alternatively comprise of stone or brick foundation and a hardwood upper level with the roof coated in clay tiles or galvanized steel in later years. Unique in architecture, the window opens from mid-level to floor and ceiling. These openings allow the tropical breeze to flow freely through the house, ventilating it. Designs vary by region, but common features include steep roof over a 1 or 2 room living area based on posts or stilts 1 to 2 meters above the ground or over shallow water.
Now that we have already showcased some of the architectural designs of the buildings in our locality, I will now share some insights that we had while making this video. First, upon researching, I, including my teammates, were amazed upon knowing each building's history, including the purpose as to why they have chosen those respective designs. Second, it made us realize that each building's details are not that much appreciated by most people because what makes it more appreciable is looking at the details closely. And lastly, we are beyond grateful that we have known and studied these architectural designs because we were able to use our learnings in this subject to the real world.
Truly, our city alone is rich with fascinating infrastructures, and it takes an informed individual to appreciate such work of art. Those buildings have already existed long ago, yet we wasn't able to appreciate it because we lacked the basic understanding of its details to appreciate such. Not until today that we've learned its history, architectural design, and related interesting facts that helps us realize that these infrastructures are beyond merely providing shelter, but also focuses on functionality and aestheticism that makes a difference in the day-to-day life of those who will be utilizing the space.
So the group has visited a total of 3 spots that features different architectural designs.
We first visited the Cathedral Church for the House of Worship, which showcases the Neo-Gothic architectural style. Next stop was an ancestral house located a few blocks from the Cathedral Church that exemplifies the Philippine architecture. evidenced by its feature which shows a contrast of small traditional huts made of wood and convenced with a heavy earthquake-proof Baroque-style characteristics. And lastly, the Parliament Hotel, which is considered one of the striking buildings here in our city that exhibit exuberant decorations with abundance of curves, counter-curves, undulations, and elements modeled on nature just like the shell features.
Overall, the city of Cagayan de Oro has a lot more to offer. But with these few infrastructures, we can deduce that the city alone is abundant with fascinating establishments inspired by the different architectural designs, and is truly a city that has a story to tell.
Viva Señor San Agustin!
So that ends our small tour. We hope you learned a lot about the different architectural designs found here in Cagayan de Oro City. So these are your Marites saying,
Make the best trips with the best people and best chicas. Ciao!
Viva Señor San Agustin! Cagayan Festival!